Hello, everyone, and happy Batman Day. Today we are going to be finally catching up on some Batman comics that I've been holding off on, as I mentioned in my past videos, and we also have a trip to make to the comic shop for some new releases, including the Batman vs. Deadpool release, which I have a few covers of. There's a couple of other things coming out today. I'm trying to spend as little as I possibly can, but we shall see, because there's a couple things that I know I was interested in, so we'll take a look at those later. For now, we're going to be catching up, as I said, on some Batman that I am behind on, starting with the Absolute Batman. I, however, will be free reading issue 11 here just to refresh myself on it, because it's been a little bit now, and then I'll go straight into issue 12, and from there we've got Immortal Legend Batman, as well as finally issue 1, Matt Fraction's Batman. I'm most excited for this one right here, so we'll be saving that one for the end. For now, I will get started with these. Catch you in a minute. What did they do? Oh, what did they do to him? Oh, those were a rough couple pages there. Good lord. All the gang, we're seeing what's happening. Everyone they're turning into, all the villains, man, that's a lot. Well, that concludes another awfully dark and really gut-wrenching issue of Batman. Yeah, kind of as I mentioned, we're seeing what's coming about of his friends and all the villains that we know from Batman, I suppose. Because obviously they were going to become them at some point, but we've only ever seen them as Bruce's friends here, as well as like someone who, they know of his identity. So for a whole thing to be like they know who Batman is, obviously like they were put at risk in the first place because Bane got Bruce's identity and he was able to find the people he cares about, but now everyone knows who he is. But does he have people to care about anymore that he can be hurt that way? He probably won't let that happen, but who knows. At the beginning we got Croc. He runs off because he thinks he can't be helped or saved. He's miserable and he wants to die. Bruce won't do it, so who knows if he's gonna save him. My guess he's gonna stay Croc, and maybe they become adversaries, or they're just at odds with each other but not really enemies per se. Harvey spoke to Bruce. He's still around. He says he only hates him half the time, so he certainly blames him to some aspect for starting all this and causing all the harm. God, Oswald, man, that is just like broke every single bone in his body, some more than once. Absolutely insane. Harvey getting his head absolutely clapped by Bane and set ablaze, as he is traditionally known to do. Yeah, and then the Riddler, man. We got Eddie, he's all like half robot, kind of. We see Bane here. He basically crushed his head in. So he's just his own robot now. I don't know. There's a lot going on in here, and it's a lot to take in from Batman's perspective. Even here at the end, we get a little bit of a mention of the Red Hood gang, which Batman's working with, which is odd. Not odd, I guess. It's just, for what we know of Red Hood, it's who are these people and why is Batman already working with him? That felt very like an interesting thing to interject right there for like a quick 2-3 panels. And then at the very end, we got Selina, Catwoman. So hopefully coming up soon we get some more Catwoman. I'm very excited to see Selina. She's the only one we've been getting a lot of backstory on, but haven't seen currently what's been going on in she's on the cover of the next title. So very excited. What an absolutely insane issue. I know I said I was going to read them all straight through and save the discussion, but already just from this one, that was too much to just go right into another issue. I had to stop and think about it for a second, talk about it. So yeah, great issues. Let's move on now to our first issue of Immortal Legend Batman. See what we got going on this one. As I said, first time reading this, I don't know anything about it, issue 1 going into it, other than New Batman issue 1, but pretty instantly we're getting a Batman, and we find out he's looking for Bruce Wayne. Pretty interested already. This is like 2 pages in, so pretty cool. Gonna keep going. Alright, not at all what I was expecting. This one was actually really cool. I liked it a lot. I could see with the style why some people might be turned off. It kind of reminds me a lot of like Power Rangers or an anime or something, with all the very saturated colors, and it's in space and there's like lasers and stuff like that. But it's different for sure. So we start here right at the beginning. As I was saying before, how I thought, apparently Bruce Wayne is not Batman. That is not the case, but for now we just see Batman right off the rip, and he is after Bruce Wayne. As we saw at the bottom, he's looking for Bruce Wayne. Immediately, next page, we're at like a crime scene where all the murders on this planet have been happening, and it's ever since, I don't know, just recent times. There's been a lot of these popping up out of nowhere, kind of around the same time Batman has made an appearance. But we have a team here of Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent, and they're both trying to solve these murders. Bruce Wayne is in fact the sheriff here, and we find out not too long after that the man claiming to be Bruce Wayne here, the sheriff, is in fact not Bruce Wayne. Batman shows up, claims that Bruce Wayne is a shadow. We'll get more into shadows, what they are, but they get into a fight, Batman versus Bruce and Harvey, and what ends up happening is they get to a little bit of a standoff, and Batman unsuits and reveals that he is in fact Bruce Wayne, and that Bruce Wayne is not Bruce Wayne, it's a shadow, which he reveals himself, and he is in fact the Two-Faced Man. Whether that's a reference to Two-Face because Harvey Dent is here, I'm sure it is, but not that that's actually Two-Face, or maybe this version's take on Two-Face. Whatever, but it's interesting, just the Two-Faced Man. And this is what I was saying kind of about like the Power Rangers and all the colors and the lasers and stuff. The action here is very stylized for sure. Not your traditional Batman, noir detective stuff. It is very combat heavy. But yeah, he fights this shadow, he beats it. We find out it's Bruce Wayne. He saves the people and he leaves the planet. That's when we kind of go into, this is like the end of that story, and then we start here. The last couple pages is exposition telling us what's going on in the world. So we find out that at the 22nd century, humanity left Earth and set for space. And when they were doing the science and research in order to do so, it involved dark matter, and studying the dark matter released shadows into our world, as you can see. So shadows are these big monsters that form. They, destroy humanity, basically. And here we have 3 people who are sort of channeling, studying, mastering the light and the dark and the balance. So in this little image here, I don't know if you see, we have like a black, a white, and then a black and white, like a yin-yang. But basically the 3 of them are each studying 3 different versions, and we get one of them studies the bright, which they name the approach the way of the Robin. One studies the dark and names it the way of the Bat, and one studies like a balance, a mixture of both, and they become, they study the approach, or name the approach, that they studied the way of the Nightwing. So you get this kind of cool little team shot here. They're all in like their special, unique suits. Now this is the first iteration of them. So we kind of see down the line that the reason that they are referred to as Immortal Legends in the name of the series, Immortal Legend Batman, is because apparently they've been around like forever. They're immortal. They're here. They're always helping, to defeat the shadows and whatnot. So it gets passed down. Here it goes into a little bit more detail. We get Tim Drake as our current Robin. We get Dick Grayson as our current Nightwing, and we get Bruce Wayne as our current Batman. We find out though that Batman is kind of split up, and rumors about him is that he is doing all sorts of shit, hurting people, and apparently he crashed a ship that caused a cryogenicist to be killed, some scientist. So yeah, at the very end, the last page that we have is someone named Thomas Elliot. For some reason, that name sounds like it rings a bell, or it should ring a bell, but at least no one I could think of off the top of my head. So if this is an obvious Batman character, excuse me, but we have someone, Thomas Elliot here, who is basically being told that he is supposed to be the current Immortal Legend Batman, the one wearing the mantle. So yeah, it's interesting. Not what I was expecting for sure. I mean, like I said, based off the cover, it was very clearly a futuristic type thing, but they're just straight up on other planets. They make reference to him not being on Gotham, which I don't know if Gotham is its own planet, but sounds pretty cool. Like I said, the art style and stuff, it's very stylized, but I enjoyed it. I like that kind of stuff already, so to see it for Batman, I'm down for it. Yeah, very entertaining first read. Pretty cool first issue. I would not mind continuing this one and checking it out. So we'll see in the future. But for now, most importantly, if you are not all here for what I at the very least am here for, this one, I cannot wait. Let's get started, shall we? Absolutely gorgeous art. My God. Yes. This suit too. This is great. This little spread right here. Not only is it an absolutely gorgeous image here of Batman soaring over a very nice, pretty looking modern Gotham here, but we're getting like a bunch of little television broadcasts, like news broadcasts and stuff for like what's going on in Gotham. Just a good way to introduce the city and give you a vibe for it, even though we know what Gotham's about. But just for this story, it's a nice just thing to do on a simple 2 pages here. Okay, so I'll be honest, not what I was thinking was going to happen in it. So all I knew about this is that it is kind of like standoff one alone stories per issue. So it's not going to be like Absolute Batman 1 through 6 with like the Zoo, and then currently we're in like the Abomination series or whatever. It's all supposed to be self-contained stories per issue, and this one was Killer Croc, which funnily enough ties in with what's been going on in Absolute Batman. But I was expecting a lot more of like a mystery and a case to solve and a big fight, but we just kind of have Bruce sit and talk with Croc, and Croc willingly goes back to like the lab or wherever to be helped by the scientists. So it's interesting. It doesn't feel like much of a like Batman did kind of save the day, and in a way, I guess with the way they were writing, with the doctor saying like some people can change, and Batman says, well, they can't, especially when this one I've known for so long, he's stuck in his ways, and Batman kind of makes that decision. He's like, I'm gonna decide right now to see maybe if this is true, maybe people can change, and if so, that will result in a better outcome than him having to fight, which fortunately for him worked out, but just not what I was expecting for a first issue of this. It is different in that tone, I guess. It felt a lot more light. So I don't know how far we're gonna get into it. At the end here on this last page, we got Robin's being arrested. He's asking if they're friendly with anyone on the police force because he's about to be taken in. And then we've got next time on Vandal Savage is commissioner, not Jim Gordon. Very odd, was not expecting that. We got some new people, some new enemies here, as well as some old ones. Looks like the Joker, at least with the acid, I'm assuming. Or, you know, the tub he falls into. There is a lot to talk about with this one, I'll say. It's absolutely visually stunning. I can't get over how good it looks. All the panels have so much detail. It looks gorgeous, but like these full frame ones, and he's like standing on the edge of this rooftop here, and you can see everything below him. Not rooftop, but you know, hole in the wall. They had this comic as like one of the massive ones, like this big that you can get, and I was like, I don't know how you would store that and how you'd keep it. Seemed kind of not ideal, but for something like this, I'm like, oh man, to see those images blown up to that size, it would have been so good to have one of those. Like I said, you get a very quick introduction to Gotham. It's gorgeous, sets the tone very early. We see, like I said, Vandal Savage is commissioner. They are after Batman. He is not an ally with the police. He is very much wanted. We see Batman with Alfred, seemingly. It turns out that it's not Alfred, at least not the Alfred who is around anymore, because Alfred is gone. This is an AI Alfred, or I'm assuming AI, but some type of system that Bruce created, kind of like a Jarvis, it seems, but it's Alfred in the place. So he's in here at the Batmobile with him. We cut to a park. There's like some goons chasing these girls. Batman does not care. He drives straight through, starts beating them up, no questions asked. Excuse me. There we go. Sometimes it's hard to see what I'm showing you, and if it's in focus or not. The technology has been super cool. Every time he uses something, they give it a lot of detail and a lot of attention. You even get these like little info bubbles. I don't know if you can see. Where's it at? Right there for the car. Kind of a little description on the car, but it gave one for his glider earlier. It gives one for his, what are they called? Spectro lens, his goggles, his little glasses. He's got these electrified bat gauntlets here that he's gonna use to fight Bane when he finds, Absolute Batman, when he finds Croc. So you can see here's Croc. He's getting ready to fight him basically. But Croc kind of starts talking to him. He is just sat in this museum on the floor looking up at this thing. I guess the scientist was saying he's kind of at this stage right now where like mentally he's kind of at the level of like a child. You can see he's very fascinated by this giant dinosaur statue. Bruce takes off his cowl and he's just kind of sat there on the floor chatting with him. Says he's got a new head. It's funny when he takes off his cowl. So yeah, they just kind of sit and chat. The doctors, scientists, whoever show up, and Croc just kind of willingly leaves with them. Oops. He kind of talks to Batman for a second before he steps out, and he's like, "Who helped you?" And Batman's like, "I'm okay. I don't need help." Croc says, "If you say so." Just a little cute moment between them, I guess. He keeps a little trophy from him here at the end, and then yeah, we cut to Robin. So not a super long issue. For some reason I was expecting it to be a lot bulkier, a lot more expansive, I guess, on the world and the case. Like I said, it felt like it got wrapped up very quick. There was not a lot of stakes or big events. It just felt like an introduction, which is totally fine. Like I said, it's absolutely gorgeous. I was just, for a first issue, I guess, expecting a lot more thrills, a lot more wow. So that's just my personal take on it. But yeah, that makes for all the new issues of Batman that I had to catch up on. Some great reads today. Now it is time for the comic shop. We are on our way to go pick up all our new pulls, including Deadpool and Batman #1. Or is it Batman and Deadpool? I don't know. First ever crossover in however many crazy years. So excited. I got a couple of those to pick up as well as some other things. So I will be back shortly. We'll see you soon. Well, I certainly did myself no favors today by walking home with a stack this big. Let me set this down. Apologies for the noise. Get those out. So, quite a few issues as we can see. A bit of a thick stack here. At least half of these I'd say are probably going to be just Batman and Deadpool covers that I had ordered a couple weeks ago. So fortunately not on the same paycheck. That would have been a lot. I would not have been able to take all this home. But still a lot nonetheless total. So let's get started. Right here on top we've got Absolute Flash number 7. Pretty cool cover here. As I said in my collection video, this is probably my least favorite of the Absolute line right now. My biggest complaint just being that it feels like it's taking a while to get to the point, I guess. Right now, we got TMNT Casey Jones number 1 just released today. I am currently reading the Shredder. It's only one issue, but I got the Shredder that I just read a couple weeks ago in that one review. Casey Jones number 1 is here. I have not read any of the TMNT new line. I have that one issue 10 that I said I was going to hang on my wall because I like the art, but I have not read any of the actual Ninja Turtles line yet, which is a shame. It's just Shredder and Casey, which is cool, but yeah, I need to get going on that Turtles one. I know they got the trade paperbacks at least, so for now, we got Casey. Next up, this one is not new by any means. This is just Wonder Woman number 7 because I am behind and they finally had reprints. So I've got number 7 in hands finally. I can continue with Wonder Woman, my other absolutes, or I should say probably in the top 3 of my absolute favorites right here. Wonder Woman, Batman, and Martian Manhunter. So yeah, very excited to keep going with that finally. Another one that's not necessarily new this week. This is actually one of last week's releases, but I just missed it when I was there at my shop and I had to pick it up this week. So, Undead Iron Fist, number 1. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the Undead Iron Fist. Danny Rand returns to save the Iron Fist legacy. Not too sure. I'm familiar with Iron Fist primarily through the Netflix series, which is not ideal, as well as video games, so not much about the character. My first Iron Fist comic for sure, so excited to see what that's got going on. We're going to pass over these real quick. We'll go into this one. Right here we've got Marvel Zombies issue number 1. This is a Red Band comic, which is why it's in this sealed plastic wrap. This is a variant cover as well. Looks really cool. It's like an old newspaper, but got a couple different heroes attacking each other as zombies. I'll get this one opened and we can take a look at it as well. And here we have it. Marvel Zombies. Looks very old and worn. Like I said, old comic look. Got a bunch of heroes. Yeah, really cool cover of that one. Very excited to get into it. Let's move that out the way. Now, because today is Batman Day, not only did we have some Batman releases to catch up on from last week that have all been new, as well as the Batman and Deadpool that released, but we've got this here first book, book 1. This is DC Black Label, Batman the Second Night. This is much larger. I don't know if you can tell. I'm gonna take one of these right here. Much larger. This one also had a really cool variant cover I almost got, but I just stuck with the traditional. There's your back. A little bit of text at the top. And at the bottom. But yeah, this is book 1 of I'm not sure how many. It looked really cool. A lot of detail in this art. It looks like a traditional Batman story, except Scarecrow's in here as well, spoiler. But it takes place in the 1940s, I want to say, is the main thing about this one. It's like a old timey Batman. You kind of get from like the art here. It's like old movie posters and stuff like that. Let me read the back real quick. Yeah, the year is 1940 is what it starts with. Most of the Western world is embroiled in a war against the fascist regime. Yeah, so I mean, World War II Batman. Pretty cool. I was very excited to see this one there. Like I said, it's book one of I'm not sure how many, but I like the size and dimensions of it. It's cool. I'm very excited for that one. And last but not least, we've got all of our Batman and Deadpool covers here. So we've got to start our traditional Deadpool Batman number 1. Yep. On the back, we've got an Avengers Ultimate Endgame poster, it looks like. But yeah, this is your standard default cover right here. Forgive me, I don't know all the artists and all the different covers. There's like probably 30 plus of the Batman and Deadpool variant covers that came out. So you've got your standard one at the top because that's the one I'll probably read. I always love collecting traditional standard your cover A's as much as possible when I can. Followed up by, let's go with these two here. These two are the ones that I think are my personal favorites that I was just like, I gotta have these for my own collection because I just think they're really cool looking. That would be this variant right here. I so wish I looked up the artist before so I could credit them and say how much I appreciate their work because this stuff is awesome. Yeah. That's a really just clean cover right there. So I'll definitely be keeping that one, holding on to it. As well as this one. This one, yeah. I couldn't believe this one. This one is amazing. I just love the detail. It feels like just a full painting that they took a tiny little section out of it and threw it on a comic book cover. This feels like someone's like big, grand, giant masterwork. Yeah, I don't know. Something about this one. Really love it. I would love to see a whole comic in this style, so I'll definitely have to look into whoever this artist is. Followed by a couple covers here that I kind of got to hold on to, maybe potential like future investment for reselling or something, I'm not sure. I do really like all of these, but they were more like collector's items and less for me and my personal interest in them, I guess, if that makes sense. So like these two that I just covered, these covers here, I really like them for me. Like I know I'll be keeping those ones. These other ones I got sort of as a just in case to have. So we've got the Daniel Warren Johnson cover here. And I've been seeing online a lot of people are kind of hit or miss on this one, I guess. People think it's a little, I don't know about like disrespectful or what, but being with Jack Kirby characters and stuff, you know, I guess people are saying connection to like him and was it his wife or something? I don't know all the details. I'm new to the comic world, forgive me, but I guess some people weren't a super huge fan of this cover. I really like it. Just two of them smacking the crap out of each other. Yeah, that one's really cool. So I got that one to hold on to. This one, this was honestly one that I almost didn't get, but I just really liked it. And I thought, you know, why not? Already got this many other covers. It can't hurt, right? So we've got Deadpool wearing the gauntlet, all the Infinity Stones. We've got all these different Marvel and DC characters side by side lined up. Yeah, that one's super cool. Big crossover cover. Awesome design on that one. This would make for a good, like, just piece of art to have, like, something to throw on a frame on the wall or something. But yeah, that one's really cool. And last but not least, a blank edition, but it's red. Because I've never owned one of these blank editions before. Anytime I've seen them, it's always, like, autographed or it's got someone's art on it. Like, I assume people take these to conventions and cons and, what am I saying? Conventions and get these, you know, signed, autographed, have people do art on them. I'm not too sure. I thought, like, long term, maybe this would be something cool to have if I ever get into anything that far out and meet any cool creators. Maybe I can have this one filled out with something. But yeah, another just sort of collector's item for me that I don't necessarily know what I want to do with it yet. So some people might see that as a foolish use of money to buy stuff with no purpose, which I am inclined to agree, unfortunately. However, I can't help myself. I'm a collector and I really like this stuff. So in the meantime, for future, we got this one. We got the Gauntlet cover here, which I said I really do like this one, but this one I wouldn't be too afraid to let go of eventually. Same with the Daniel Warren Johnson one. Super cool cover, but if I had to pick, like, I'm always going to stick with the classic default because, it just feels right, at least for me. And then these two covers here, yeah, these ones are where it's at for me. This style is dope. There were so many other variants, so many with different characters on them, not just Batman and Deadpool. The Daredevil and Green Arrow one was really cool. The Peach Momoko one was awesome because I really like her art, and that was really hard not to get. All of these I actually had. These are my orders that I pre-ordered. The only one today that I ended up picking up and being tempted into was the red cover. I almost got the one that even had their like logo split in half, like the half Batman, half Deadpool, but yeah. Anywho, that is the haul for today. A lot of comics, a lot of stuff to read. A ton of Batman and Deadpool. We've got our Batman Second Night. Can't wait to try that one out. As well as a couple Marvel. We got Wonder Woman, Flash, and our Casey Jones. So a lot of stuff to read. Unfortunately, I do not have time to read all of those today. I will, however, be getting into the Batman and Deadpool because I can't wait for that one. I'm not going to wait several weeks like I did for these other Batman ones. Today's Batman Day, and might as well. I've got a little bit of time right now, so I'm going to get right into it. Alright, here we go. Deadpool and Batman, Marvel, DC. You already know, it's time. Alright, let's do it. Pretty great interaction right off the rip. Immediately, just to get right into it, Deadpool is after Batman. Batman's after Joker. He's at home, Bruce is at home finding a bunch of stuff on Joker and his plans, and then all of a sudden Deadpool just comes crashing in through his window, and he's looking for information. But yeah, Batman is his target, so Deadpool versus Batman, it seems pretty cool. Let's keep going. I can't get over this. The dialogue, just him messing with not only Batman but Gordon. This is great. No words, just this. Yo, I just finished it. I thought I finished it. Because when I picked this up, I was like, that's a thick comic. That's like a thick issue. I was like, it must be pretty long. This whole bit, this front bit, like of pages, was the Batman and Deadpool. All of this back here is more stories. We've got Captain America and Wonder Woman, Jeff and Crypto, Daredevil and Green Arrow, Rocket, Raccoon and Green Lantern, Old Man Logan, and Batman the Dark Knight Returns. And presenting logo. Enter logo. So, this is thick. I guess before I get into these other issues, because there's going to be a bunch of team-up issues here, the Batman and Deadpool one was great. I loved it. We get Batman, we get Deadpool, we get Gordon, and we get the Joker. Like I said from the jump, Deadpool comes crashing in. He's looking for Batman. Turns out he's working together with the Joker to take out the Batman. Deadpool is just such an insane person that neither Batman nor the Joker can handle him. He kind of just does his own thing and ends up ruining the Joker's plans anyways. The Joker gets captured, Batman gets away. Deadpool's fine. He walks out unharmed, even though taking an injection of Joker venom. Um, Non-stop dialogue and jokes. There was that bit I showed you about the Nightwing's butt and Joker's butt looking better, because we all know about Nightwing's butt. There's a little bit of combat for like just a split second between Batman and Deadpool, like they're gonna fight, but Deadpool kind of drops his stuff and he's like, "See, we are an even match for each other. This is gonna go nowhere." And Batman's like, "What are you talking about?" They ride in the Batmobile together. Like I said, he betrays Batman and ends up knocking him out with the gas inside the Batmobile and takes him to the Joker's place. Joker realizes very quickly they're not going to work together because Deadpool is Deadpool. Turns out Deadpool also came from, because it's like, where does Deadpool come from, right? We're in Gotham. It says specifically that... So apparently, Clarion, the witch boy, hooked me up with one of his spells. You know, mirror, mirror, hear my pleas, show me one as mad as me. Joker basically did some magic with Clarion, and he was looking for someone that was an equal match to the Joker, and what came out was Deadpool from the Marvel Universe. So that is how Deadpool's in Gotham. It's funny. I like the writing and stuff. Not as much action as I would have liked with Deadpool and Batman. It was like right when we were just gonna get started, they stopped it, and I was like, oh man, that would have been a cool fight. But yeah, his little shenanigans with the Joker and messing up his plans and saving Batman unironically, or ironically and unironically. Yeah, it was funny. It was a good little issue there. I thought it was going to be this whole thing, but like I said, we got a ton of little side issues here, so I'm going to go through all of those now and just talk about them at the end, so be back in a minute. Alright, so that is actually the end of Deadpool and Batman #1 now. So, really great little short stories, honestly. All of them have like a the end or whatever with like a question mark, so whether or not they're gonna turn any of these into their own one-shots or series or whatever. But starting with Captain America and Wonder Woman, that one just felt right. Batman and Deadpool was really cool, was really funny, it's unexpected, it's like they obviously don't get along well knowing the two characters, but for the comic it made for a really great little mini issue. Wonder Woman and Captain America, watching them fight, we start seeing them in like World War II and they're fighting Hitler, but then we get like flashes to the future and we're seeing like all of the like DC and Marvel universe collab together. They're all like fighting and saving each other's lives. Here's Supergirl, but yeah, we get a bunch of other heroes mourning her and stuff from Marvel and everything. It's really cool. Something about the Wonder Woman and Captain America one just felt right. They feel like the perfect duo. Like I could really read a lot of them, fighting and serving justice together. It's really cool. So that was a really great little mini issue. Next up we have Jeff and Crypto. This is the shortest one. There are, of course, not really any words spoken between them. It's just them playing catch together, basically. Crypto and Jeff are just hitting a ball back and forth. Turns into like a little tennis volleyball match here. And then both Jeff and Crypto end up being called home because it's time to eat. They wave goodbye to each other and that's it. So just a short and sweet one for the two of them. After that we have Green Arrow and Daredevil, which was super cool. I'm so happy this one's in here because once again I didn't know these were part of this. I thought it was all just Deadpool and Batman, but Daredevil and Green Arrow is a super cool combo. I'm super happy that they teamed up for this little issue. It is a pretty cool issue. It has this one cool like double panel page where you hold it vertically and read it this way. It's pretty neat. It's just them brawling. They bump into each other in the city because they're both after the same bad guys. It's just them being witty and talking to each other, calling each other green and red, and they're just
kicking butt, chatting with each other. At the very end, Count Vertigo shows up to take out Daredevil, and Green Arrow makeshifts a like boxing glove arrow from inside the nearby gym to hit him with, and at the end we see like the glove lying on the ground, and it says Jack Murdock, as in Daredevil's father. So it's just a cool little, cool little team up story. That's all. Very action packed. The next page I flipped and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe it. Rocket Raccoon gets a Green Lantern ring. So it starts off, we see Oa. We're in Oa with the council here and the Guardians, and they're talking with each other, and basically they are in some sort of exchange program or agreement where Hal is giving up his ring to go with the Guardians to become a representative of the Lanterns, and Rocket is going to the Lanterns to become a representative. So he gets the ring. He's all dressed up like Guy Gardner here, basically. Yeah, it does not go well. It's literally like 3 pages, or 3 or 4 pages. Oh no, excuse me. It's literally just these 2 pages, the whole comic. So this one is the shortest, not even the Crypto and Jeff one. This is technically the shortest. Rocket gets the ring. The second page here, we start seeing what he's doing with it. He shows up. He shoots Sinestro. They're like, yeah, we don't really do that. Day 2, he's gambling his Green Lantern ring for money. Day 2.5, he's robbing the casino. At the end here, we see they're getting a call saying it's not working out. Nova over here saying, it's not working out with Hal Jordan either, and that's because he is upgraded not just from a Green Lantern ring to the gauntlet with all the Infinity Stones. So, cool little story there. That one was really unique, really fun. I wish it was longer. Rocket, out of all of them to get the Green Lantern ring, I for some reason did not expect Rocket, so that was really funny, especially seeing how he treated it and used it within 2.5 days. So we've got a Frank Miller showdown between Batman and Wolverine. We got Batman, Wolverine, just a very short and quick couple page fights here. 3 pages or 4 pages. Batman straps some bombs on him while he's not paying attention, blows him up. Basically call it a truce. Say, anytime you want to fight, old man. And last but not least, we've got Logo, the story of Logo, who I was a little bit confused. I was like, who's Logo? Logo is Logan and Lobo, aka Wolverine and Lobo, which is quite the combo. We can see with his hair, he's got like the hook claws, basically. Flip the page here. You can see him, he's riding a bike. He shoots this Thanos copter thing that they make a joke of here. And then we get one more shot of him riding out here. Yeah. And like I said, they all have got this little, like, the end question mark right there. So, yeah. Really cool first issue one-shot thing. It looked like it said it was going to be coming back in November, wherever the ad was that is in here somewhere. So, super awesome. Like I said, I just thought it was going to be the one thing. I didn't know it was going to have all those little short stories at the end, so they really packed it full in this one. I'm excited I got all the other covers. Now I'm like, man, I wish I got that Daredevil and Green Arrow cover, because I didn't realize that story was in here. I just kind of thought they were all, like references to this or like other team-ups on covers, which some of them are, but some of them were actually issues within this. So, yeah. That is going to be it for today. I hope you all enjoyed so much. I hope you all had a great Batman day and got some good picks, some pulls for yourselves. I will be updating soon, probably with another new reader recap as far as all these other issues that I have to go through from this week. So, yeah, once again, happy Batman Day. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more content, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.